So I'm Colin Burton. I'm an MBA student at BYU in the analytics program, and today I want to show you about recommender systems. I'll show you how to understand them, how to build one, and then how to sell it to your organization so that they'll want to implement it. So first off, we're going to understand it. To do that, we're going to go over a story. I'm going to teach you guys about a guy named Don. Don is a salesman, and he sells sports equipment, and he has a really interesting customer, and he wants to sell more sports equipment to this guy. So what he does is he looks at what this customer has purchased in the past, and he uses this to try to decide what is the next thing that he wants to sell, because he doesn't know. Don doesn't know what's the next thing this guy's going to buy. So what he does is he goes and he looks at some other customers and looks at what they're buying, and he sees that there's some customers that buy similar products, and there's one customer here at the end that only buys the stuff that his target customer doesn't buy. So he takes this information, and instead of just looking at X's, he gives these scores. So customers that buy similar products get a score of +1, and customers that buy dissimilar products get a score of -1. They can go across each product and add these up, and now he has a ranked order of what products would be most interesting for this customer. So looking at this, the baseball glove here has a score of +1, so it's probably the most likely thing for this customer to buy, and hockey skates are probably the least likely to buy for this customer. So Don does this. He sells a ton of baseball gloves to this customer, and he really kills it, and his manager comes up to him and says, "Hey, you did such a good job. I've got another product for you, and my other salesmen, they're having a real tough time with this, but Don, you do so good at this that I want you to go out and I'll sell cricket bats." And Don's American. He has no idea what cricket bats are good for. He has no idea who would be interested in them or what product features would be useful, but he uses the same kind of idea, and he goes through and he looks at his cricket bat and looks at who's buying them, looks at his customers, and then he also looks at his other products and looks at customers that are buying those, and he sees that wave runners and baseballs have similar customer bases. Hockey skates, not so much. So he goes through and he changes these to +1s and -1s again, adds them up, and now you can see that this customer here, this hipster-looking guy, he's probably the most likely one to buy cricket bats, and Ron here, not so interested in cricket. So that's just the basics. That's a very simplified version of what recommender systems do. It's a whole class of machine learning called user-based collaborative filtering. It's used by a lot of companies. Netflix uses it to recommend what movies you should watch. Amazon uses it to recommend which products you should buy. But in a basic level, this is kind of what you're doing, is giving +1s and -1s. So implementing this, how do you create it? There's a package in R called Recommender Lab that does most of the heavy lifting for you. So to build an entire recommender system, this is all the code that I wrote for my summer internships, 24 lines. So it's pretty simple. Recommender Lab does a lot of this heavy lifting for you, so it's really easy to get implemented. But of course, R is just going to give you a bunch of numbers. So how do you make this into something that's presentable? You need kind of a dashboard so that salespeople can use this. So you can use Microsoft Power View to kind of build a dashboard for this. It gives you ability to filter here on the right side, and then different information in the middle about what the recommended products are. You can put purchase history in there. Gives you a nice, easy way to build something that salespeople or people in marketing can use. So now you got to sell it. So how do you go about telling your organization how important this is? So one way to do this is you got to look at the accuracy rate of your recommender system. You do this by looking at, say you have a customer that's bought 10 items, and you put 9 of those into the algorithm, and you see how often you can catch that 10th one. And each time that you catch that, that's going to help your accuracy rate. So the different kind of recommender systems you can compare this to. One is being a random item, so if you just grabbed a bunch of random SKUs from your product catalog and just pulled out the top 10 random ones of those and recommended it, how often does that catch your that 10th item that you missed out, that you left out of your customer purchase history? And for me, that was about 5% accurate. Next one is, say you just grab the top 10 most popular items and put those into your recommendation. How often does that catch that 10th item you left out? And for me, over the summer, that was about 12%. But then the customized list, that's the one that you build with Recommender Lab. Ideally that's really high. For mine, that was about 20%, which was pretty good. So that's great, but to really sell the value of this to a business, you have to put it in dollars and cents. So to do this, it's pretty simple. Say you've made a top 10 list and you have a 20% accuracy rate. That's about 2 new orders. Then you multiply that by the number of customers that the company has or that your recommender system applies to. And then you average that, or multiply that by the average order size and the average price, and you get your dollar sign. So an example, say I have 20% accuracy for a top 10 list. That means I have 2 new orders for each recommendation from each top 10 list. I have 3,000 customers, so that's roughly 6,000 new orders. Average order size is 1,000 pounds at $1 a pound, so that runs out to be about $6 million. So now you can pitch your recommender system with a dollar value behind it and really create some value for your company. So that's the recommender systems. Go out and make them. They're not too difficult to do. You can do it with a really basic amount of code. They're not too difficult to understand and tell people how they work. And you can go out there and really crush it and make some good value for your company.